Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. So let me. There's something I can show you that'll be fairly, but I think this will give you an idea on the what I would consider not like a huge thing, and you can tell me what you think, right? What you think would be involved. So, okay, let's see.
I'm recording, by the way.
You're recording the Skype?
Yeah.
Okay. Does it recall the screen? Does it recall the screen share too? It records it?
Yep.
Okay,
It
very
records
good.
my screen, and I'm seeing
Your screen.
yours.
I see. Okay, so okay, I'll give you an example here. So I know we had gone through this before, right? So for the time being, obviously, we're not using this tax portion because what ends up happening is the tax numbers are not up to date. So eventually, we would like to have some functionality in the program. I know we spoke about this. That would allow us, someone to come in and, whether it be myself or someone else who's actually helping maintain the program, to come in and update tax numbers on an annual basis, right? So that to me, I would see as something that would obviously be, a little bit of a bigger fix. But for the time being, this is still being used, and I'll try and just put something in here. I know it's not going to be complete, but just so you can see what I mean as far as a fix. And these numbers are not necessarily going to make any sense, but let's just put some stuff in here. Okay, so the idea is we input client expenses on here, then we hit this button, and this is the output that now goes to PowerPoint. So I guess one of the initial fixes I would think, and you tell me what you think, is see the way this outputs is not, clean in the sense that like there's no need for, it for some reason, to you this will be a simple thing maybe, but see it outputs it in this like gray color. It shouldn't be like that, right? So that's obviously more of a visual change, right? But that would be one thing. And then the other thing is, even just from a formatting perspective, you can see it cuts off this line here, right? So because visually, the quicker that we can get the data in and get it to this point where you see now, and then output it, copy it over to PowerPoint, it's better for us, right? So even, for example, over here, there's no data here, right? So there should be, it shouldn't be outputting this here, right? It shouldn't be outputting this, the line as well, right? So you can see, I'm not using a mouse, I'm using a trackpad, so maybe a little bit slower than it would be, right? But you can see all this kind of manipulation of the output needs to take place before we put it into Excel. Mm-hmm. And then even over here, the way it's been done with the last set of changes is everything you put on this expense sheet, it actually puts it in a proposed change, which is incorrect because not every item would be on here. So, then you got to manually come in here and change this, right? Just bear with me here. So, we would clear this up, and then usually when we show changes on our final plan, this would be shown, in this way, right? So, and then obviously up here you would have, we would have some wording here. So we would have, income and, let's say salary. And the idea is that for the time being, we're not using our input cash flow. So we're manually coming in here and entering, pay information, which would be fine for now. But I guess what I would want is, I would want the output to kind of just be a lot cleaner. So it would require less manual. So you can even see from what it was to what it is now, like, for example, we would take this out and right. So like this to me would be, and maybe a few other fine adjustments would be a change, right? So that the idea is that when you come in and input expenses, the output is a lot cleaner. It would look more like it does now, right?
Yep.
and to me would be, like, so, and then again, we would go over this, specifics, but I just want to give you an idea of the types of kind of initial changes, right? So, then this would actually format correctly, right? So, it wouldn't put a dollar amount in here, but it would format correctly. So now if I came in here and put a number in here, it would automatically run this, it would do a monthly amount for me, right? See, it's not even kind of formatted properly. If I entered, 25,000 in tax, it would calculate it here, it would calculate it on a monthly kind of basis as well, right? And then the only other change I would see here is these proposed changes. So basically, we do a client's cash flow, and whatever's left over, we propose what, how they would save the money. So one thing we could do is we could leave it something like this, right, as in just an initial fix. But eventually what we would want is on our cash flow page, the longer term goal with the cash flow would be to come over here and now have these tax numbers up to date, right, so that we can actually get to a point where we're entering salaries on here and everything is actually calculating up to date, and we have some kind of database like we discussed before.
Yep.
Where we have up to date tax numbers. And then the idea is that even as far as the as far as those proposed savings, we could, what we want to do with a surplus, we would want to input that on this page, right? So that nothing is really, ideally long term, we want nothing to be entered on onto this sheet at all, right? And then the formatting on the output would look something kind of like it does now.